Hi everyone, welcome to this 5 Elements Secrets webinar. Hi Elizabeth, hi Chui Pang, hi Virod, hi Annie. How are you guys doing? Good. Okay, thanks for joining me here. Yeah, I know that the group here today actually came from different countries. Some of you from the States, some of you from right at my home country, Malaysia, some of you from Singapore, right? All of you here. Yeah, thanks for joining me because different time zones. Some of you maybe right now is in the morning, very early in the morning. Some of you in the afternoon, some of you in the evening. No matter where you are, thank you. Yeah, thank you for joining this webinar here today, and I truly appreciate that. And today we're going to talk about a very interesting topic, where I'm going to share more about the 5 elements. Right. So, and before we start doing this, let me just double check with all of you here whether my microphone here is working. So, can you hear my voice loud and clear now? Yeah, if you can hear my voice loud and clear, and then type the word me in the chat box right now, or yes, so we can start this webinar right now. Hi, Samantha. Hi, Susan. Okay, all right. A lot of yeses here. I saw it, so we can actually start this webinar today. So before we start, all of you here, I would like you to plot your own parter chart first. Do you got your parter chart ready yet? Right, get your parter chart ready, right? So whenever we have a webinar or any event, right, it's good to get your parter chart ready. So whenever I see there's a need to refer to your chart, and then you can get it on time, right? So okay, you got your parter chart ready first. So many of people joining in here today. Okay, Jamina, hi Maxi, hi Vidya. Okay, all right. So I think all of you here are ready for this. So I think the team here actually did a poll. Then it's actually ask, is it your first time joining this webinar? Is somehow like 72% of you here actually is not new, right? So this is which means that you attended this before, maybe not the same webinar, but you actually learned something about Chinese metaphysics. So how many of you here have some background, right? At least some background, or at least you know some knowledge about your own parter chart, right? I want you to actually, if you know something about parter chart, or you have some knowledge, at least some knowledge about parter chart, type the word yes. If you're totally new, type the word no. Okay, I want to grasp what type of crowd I'm talking to today. Okay, I saw a lot of me yeses here, so you have some background about Chinese metaphysics. Is good. Yeah, well, majority of you here actually know some parts knowledge. Okay, good. So since most of you here actually have some background about Chinese metaphysics, and 20% of you is totally new. First of all, let me just introduce myself. For some of you are very new here, this is the first time you're attending my webinar. My name is Iverson Lee. I'm a consultant, speaker, and instructor from Joyap Consulting Group. Right. So my job here is for today is to share with you certain information about Chinese metaphysics and how can you use it to actually help you to improve your life. Right. So because this is exactly what I do on my day job, right? I'm being a consultant. I talk to people. I give information based on their chart. So to advise them to make certain decisions. Sometimes it's a painful decision, right? But sometimes, but at least you know that it will move you forward to the to a better self, right? So, and also, right, for some of you very new here, you might actually wondering, whether is this for you or not. Don't worry, right? Because every time I conduct a webinar like this, there will be I'll actually cater for the beginner as well. Yeah, because you might worry that you cannot grab all the information learned today. Don't worry, right? The information I share with you today is something that also designed for beginner. So it's something that I would say that even you benefit someone that already learned something about parter, but I want to deliver it in an easy way. Yeah, that's what I try to say here. So today, as the title implied, we're going to talk about the 5 elements secret. Right. So I think if you learn about, you learn BaZi before, I think you heard about this word a lot. If you learn about Feng Shui or Qi or Yi Jing or date selection, yeah, you actually heard about this word 5 elements a lot. So 5 elements is about a concept, right? It's a concept that energy exists and energy governs everything. Yeah, whether it's a phenomenon, cosmic cycle, our reality, and life itself, right? So the 5 elements is a concept about everything is energy. Energy is everything, right? So that is how and this concept here actually adopted throughout all Chinese metaphysics subjects, right? Like I mentioned just now, like Yi Jing, BaZi, Feng Shui, right? So if you learn BaZi before, right, I think you're quite familiar with the terms 5 elements, right? So therefore, this 5 element here is the understanding of how life works, how the universe works, how things are created, how things are destroyed, right? So it's an understanding of 5 elements. So, and whenever we talk about BaZi and Feng Shui, right, that one is you actually, BaZi or Feng Shui, the system here actually make use of the understanding of 5 elements to create certain results. So I think some of you heard before there's something called science and applied science, right? There are 2 parts here, right? So one part is the science, and then the other part here is applied science. For example, knowing how gravity works, the concept of gravity is science, right? What then? The other side, there's the applied science, right? So the applied science is based on the understanding of gravity, how gravity works. Then they're able to invent airplane, right? They can defy gravity. Make sense? Right? So there's always a science and applied science. Applied science is you make use of the understanding of science. So whenever we talk about BaZi, we're talking about Feng Shui, we're talking about Qi or date selection, is applied science based on the understanding of what? 5 elements. Why they use the 5 elements? Because 5 elements governs everything. About how the universe works, about the reality, about the life itself. Since Chinese metaphysics is about creating better results, so they use this concept of 5 elements, the understanding of it, to create certain results. So like BaZi, they're talking about you can actually predict certain outcome, and then you also use those knowledge to create certain results, right? So all of this here is a applied science. Aaron, understand so far? Right? So therefore, this is today we're going to talk about the understanding of this concept. These 5 elements here, and why this is so important. And the moment you understand the 5 elements, whenever you practice BaZi, Feng Shui, or Qi, you become easier for you. It become, I would say, the second nature, because all system you are learning or you will learn in the future actually derive from the same concept. Okay. All right. So how many of you here actually learn familiar with 5 elements? Very familiar. Type the word me in the chat box right now. You're very familiar with 5 elements. Okay, all right. Okay, Tina, Melissa, you're very familiar. Okay, good. Okay, all right. So if some of you are very new to this, let me just show you a diagram. What is this 5 element means? Okay, 5 elements, is this one, right? Why they call 5 elements? Because each of this element actually govern 5 so-called different energy. They call it fire, earth, metal, water, and wood, right? So some of you, you're very familiar with this. Some are very new, right? So this slide here actually is for you, right? If you're very new, you might take a snapshot of this slide here. So whenever we're talking about 5 elements, we are talking about these 5 entity here: fire, earth, metal, water, and wood, right? So the word 5 elements actually is translated from the word, a Chinese word called mhang, right? It pronounced at mhang. So the word represent 5, the word hang represent action, right? So if you look at this direct translation, it might not be 5 elements, but a lot of people, whenever they use the word elements. Basically, the original word of the 5 elements actually is 5 action, or you can call this 5 transformation. I know that if you learn about the Western, there are 4 elements, right? The Greek, they have 4 elements. So that one more represent the substances or the natural quality of the element, but whereby the Chinese 5 elements more represent on the change or the phases of transformation. Yeah, that's why they call these the 5 phases here. So, but since everyone in the whole world talking about the word elements, so why not we just use the word elements? But I want you to understand the true meaning. Right? If you look at my mouse right now, this Chinese word here represent 5, right? And then this Chinese word here represent action, hang. Yeah, is to do something or moving or transformation. So therefore, the whole concept here talking about energy. Remember we talk about energy, right? So the energy actually transforming from one to another, constantly moving. Therefore, this is also the same concept describing life, right? Don't you think life is a constant evolving? Things keep changing, right? No matter how much we hope the thing will be the same as we are right now, but guess what? Things going to change, right? Time flies, right? So no matter what are the situation you're in right now, you're going to change as well. So this so-called transformation here are actually described by these 5 elements. So these 5 elements, when they actually derive this concept here is like 2,000 years ago or 3,000 years ago. So therefore, this since they're talking about 5 transformation or tri-moving entities, each of these elements actually represent a planets, the 5 moving planets, right? So I think you heard about Jupiter, Saturn, right? Mercury, Mars, Venus, so the 5 elements actually used to represent the movement of these 5 planets, and how does this magnetic pole will influence the energy on the Earth, our Mother Earth, and therefore it affect every living being in the universe. There's a whole concept here about these 5 elements. So they're referring to these 5 moving planets. That's why they say 5 transformation. So once we actually understand the background here, so I think that a lot of you here learn, most of you here, I would say, learn BaZi, right? So BaZi, whenever you plot your chart, you're talking about what? The 5 elements, right? Your day master, what element it is, and all those things here. So whenever you plot your own BaZi, this 5 element is used to describe your own internal energy. Your own internal energy. So all of us here have different energy, right? Because therefore we use the 5 elements to represent what are the inborn energy within us. That's why we use your BaZi chart to actually so analyze your character, analyze how you think, understand your nature, because we understand, what type of energy contained within you. So every time, before you plot the BaZi chart, what information you need? You need to provide your date of birth and time of birth, right? Do you know why we need that? And also your gender, because we want to know during your time of birth, what type of energy available during that time. Because the moment you're born on a certain date, whatever energy available on that time will be so-called installed within you, right? The moment you're born into the world, right? It's just like software installation. So that is the reason we ask for your date of birth and your time of birth. We want to know during that time, what type of energy influence you? Because those energy, since you're born during that time, it will so-called incepted within you. So we can actually tell a lot of information about you. Right, so that's the same thing. So which means that all those babies that born within the same 2 hours during your date of birth, within the 2-hour time of birth range, you will actually share the same BaZi chart, because the energy at that time is the same configuration. So every 2 hours, the energy will change again, right? So that's how it works. So whenever we look at someone BaZi, we are looking, when we're going to analyze your chart, your destiny, we are actually looking at the 5 elements within you. Okay, so that's one part about BaZi. And the other one, if you learn Feng Shui, right? Some of you learned Feng Shui before. So Feng Shui talking about the other part of it. Feng Shui talking about the energy from the environment, right? But it also using 5 elements. Right? Sometimes you see the house, is imbalanced. They're talking about this house here, too much water, right? Too much water might lead to depression, right? So the water is not the real water, but they are describing from term of the 5 elemental energies. Then this water is excessive. Yeah, this water energy, because 5 elements, one of the element are called water, right? So therefore, it's the environment energy. So if you live in an area that good energy, then you become better, right? So that way is about Feng Shui. Yeah, Feng Shui is nothing to do with you, right? That's why you see that how come two people, right, their bonds share the same party chart, why in the end the outcome is different? Because they might live in different house. Even they live in the same house, maybe different room, right? So they will affect by the different energy, or they mix with different groups of friends. So all this thing here also is energy, right? Though you affect the ultimate outcome with that person, right? But if in the same time above, they're born with the same energy, but they might live in different place, right? So therefore, Feng Shui also very important. So when you learn Feng Shui, you also learn about these 5 elements, right? Because if you know that, then you only can become a good Feng Shui practitioner. So do as BaZi as well. Okay, so some of you also learn Men Dun Jia, right? You also learn Men Dun Jia. So Men Dun Jia talking about your spiritual energy, right? How can you manifest, meditation? So it also come in form of 5 elements. Do you see all these things here ties to the same thing, right? So it's still tied to these 5 elements. And then like date selection. Date selection, I think a lot of you here learned date selection before. Don't you think it's all also about 5 elements as well? Yeah, the concept here. So which means that no matter which subject you learn in Chinese metaphysics, it will also the concept be 5 elements. Even Chinese medicine is also 5 elements, the concept. So if you're able to master the concept of 5 elements, you understand how it works, don't you think that in the future, even you learn BaZi, Feng Shui or everything, it also, you have added advantage there. And if you understand 5 elements truly, you understand life. Yeah, because all these 5 elements creating everything we see in the world, how we feel, yeah, how we perceive reality, how our destiny is something got to do with how our ability to use, to understand, or to predict, or to manipulate these 5 elements energy. So how many of you here interested to learn about these 5 elements? Okay, so this is a concept, right? Then I know some of you here actually asking, is it BaZi, is it Feng Shui? No, this is the understanding of this 5 element. It could apply to anywhere you want. Okay, so I hope that's the reason I want to tell you from the start, right? So because I think some of you here, you want to know, right? Am I learning BaZi now or am I learning Feng Shui? No, you're learning the concept, right? Later on, you can apply this concept to so many different areas in your life. Okay, cool. Okay, now, so then since now, like all of you here start with BaZi first, right? Like I told you just now, your BaZi also contains what element is within you, yeah, what is inside you. So if you're curious about this so-called what is the element that is you inherit or from the start, the moment you are born, then you need to look at your BaZi chart. Yeah, your BaZi chart. So I want all of you here to take out your BaZi chart first. Let me give you some introduction about these 5 elements here. Take out your BaZi chart right now. Are you guys ready? So what I'm going to show you right now is to do this. Yeah, this is something very important. You want to know your inner 5 element first, right? Because for everything to become better, you must become better first. Don't you think so? Right. So therefore, the first thing I would like to share with you here is to look into what is within you. The more you understand the 5 elements within you, you can actually do certain action to help you to enhance certain things. Yeah, these are the one that I'm talking about. So the first thing I'm going to share with you today is your own inner 5 elements here. So on your BaZi chart, some of you are new here, it contains a lot of information, right? You don't know where to start. So let me bring out the BaZi chart for you, so you can actually learn how to do this. Okay, I'm going to share my screen right now. Okay, so this is a chart, right? There's so many information here, right? So when you want to learn BaZi, I think a lot of you here start with this, your day master, right? So let me clear this. So you start with your day master, right? This is the first thing that you learn when you start to interpret your chart, right? But right now, at this today webinar, I'm not interested in your day master, right? Because I'm interested to know what type of elements that contain within you, right? What type of 5 elements, right? Because this one only telling you one part of your chart. It doesn't tell you in totality what is the configuration of your 5 elements. So we want to look at big picture first, right? So in order to do that, there would be I would say an easy way to do it, or it could be the very hard way to do it. So the hard way, which means that you need to understand this part, the season of birth, how the elements interact with each other. That will be, you take some time if you're a beginner, right? But don't worry, even you're beginner, this software make it so accessible. You can actually know in a glance what are the 5 elements configuration within your chart. So you can just look at this part. Okay, this part is something that is very important. Do you see something familiar? You see there's a earth element here, metal, water, wood, and fire. You see that? Right? So there are 5 elements here, right? So everyone's chart will be different. Yeah, so everyone's chart will be different. So this chart tell you the value or the strength of the 5 element inside your chart. But there are 2 diagrams inside. There are one beige color, and then there's one there's one is the purple color. So I want to look at the beige color box, sorry, the diagram, because that one represent what is given to you from the start, at the moment you're born. So if you look at this box here, this diagram here, automatically you will know which element is the strongest. Can you check? Can you type in the chat box right now? Yeah, which element do you think among the 5 elements here, this person, which element is the strongest? Is it fire? Is it metal? Is it water? Is it wood? Or is it earth elements? Which one are there? Is the strongest element? Type in the chat box. Okay, I noticed a lot of you here actually typing earth. Yes, you're right. Right, is earth is an earth element, right? Because earth here actually is 100%. You see here, yeah, it shoot to the roof, right? 100%. So for this person here, in a snapshot, you already know, 5 are among the 5 elements, earth is the most dominant element in the chart. Okay, so now I want all of you here to look back at your own chart right now. I want you to identify which is your most dominant element the moment you're born. Look at your chart right now. Okay, all right. Once you discover the answer, type on the chat box right now. Okay, someone say 100% bad. No, we are not interested to know whether it's good or bad. We just want to know which is your highest element. Okay, all right. So I think all of you here actually gotten your answer already. So, okay. So I think the next thing here is, what does it mean, right? So because now from these 5 elements alone, you can do a lot of things, right? You can know a lot of information about you. We didn't the need to actually go into it to read your BaZi chart first, because the 5 element can tell you a lot of things about you, right? So this is what I'm going to do here, because learning BaZi is not a rocket science. You don't need to actually learn very detailed, of all the technical things. Sometimes the most simplest way give you the most profound answers, right? And furthermore, the basis of BaZi also 5 elements. And I noticed that a lot of master, whenever they try to analyze the chart and predict something, sometimes a lot of time, which in fact they actually use a very, very profound, simple way just using the 5 elements. Yeah, so don't underestimate simple application, right? So simple doesn't mean it's not powerful. Okay, so now I'm going to share with you, how do you do it in a very simple yet a very powerful way to derive information from the chart, right? So when you use our BaZi chart, the first thing here is to know how to derive information. The second part is how to actually use the information. And then the third way is also, it'll be good if you know how to predict the future. Right? So don't you think this is important? So all of you here, do you like predict the future or not? Right? If you want to learn the art of predicting the future, you must know 5 elements well. Right? Other than that, you'll be struggling. Right? Okay. So now, since all of you here are we are just starting, let's not talk about predicting the future first. Yeah. Let's talk about retrieving information first. The first step here, you already know the most strongest element, right? So once you know the most strongest element, yeah, one thing you should actually know here is these 5 elements. The most dominant element is the element you attracts a lot, right? Let's say, yeah, let me explain to you. If your barter chart, the most strongest element is water, somehow in your life you attract a lot of attributes, a lot of people, a lot of event, or a lot of work that related to water. Yeah, you attract. So what you might need to write this down. What the element that strongest in your chart is the element that you attract in your lifetime a lot. Yeah, a lot in your lifetime. Yeah, so this is the thing, because you have a lot, you attract this element because this is the concept of affinity. Right? I noticed some of you actually typing, some of you are wood is strong, right? Or fire is strong, or metal is strong. So basically these are the elements that you attract constantly. Right? But you don't know yet, right? What does it mean, right? What does the element mean? So there are so many things here, because this element could represent work, your emotion, people. So there are so many things. So let me just share with you one piece of information that a lot of people are asking is, what is the industry? Yeah, that like LT say, what does it mean by work in that industry? So which means that, since let's say your strongest element is metal, so you attract metals opportunities. So don't you think in your work you want to find a industry that give you the most opportunities? Don't you think so? Right? So therefore you need to know, right, which industry are related to which element. Do you want to know this or not? Right? If you're fire, then you want to know what are the industry related to fire, because when you actually go into the industry, you discover a lot of opportunities available to you because it's the same element. Okay. All right. So let's look at this. I prepared something for you here. So let me see if I can bring this out or not. Okay. So let me just share with you this piece of information. So since in order to use this, you need to know your element first, right? You already know your element. So I already arranged the industry based on the element, right? So for example, just now, right, some of you told me that your strongest element is let's say, is wood element, let's say, right? So if your wood element is the strongest, the moment you go into this kind of industries, you discover a lot of opportunities. Yeah, this concept here is talking about attraction. Okay, it's attraction. Which element is the strongest in your chart? That is the most dominant element, is the element you attract most of the time. So therefore, when you look at the chart, you want to know which are the most profitable industry that I can join. Then now you know. Right? So don't you think this is something that very easy to know? So now, yeah, let me just explain something, right? So why I mentioned profitable? Why I mentioned profitable? Because it doesn't mean it's easy, but it's profitable. Yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah, I'm not talking about favorable, right? I'm talking about profitable, right? So which means that, yeah, these are the industry you can join that actually bring you the most profit, and also it also could be one of the toughest or give you the most challenges. Yeah, you think about this. Whenever I mention attraction, it means that it attract opportunities. Yes, I just typed the word opportunities here. Opportunities. Yet it also, at the same time, it also attracts problems. Two things at the same time. right? You think about this, right? You think about this. Yeah, if someone that is very good looking, very attractive, don't you think this person will attract a lot of opposite sex, even without they need to do anything? They just stand there, just appearing, then a lot of people get attracted. But at the same time, don't you think it also attracts a lot of problems as well? Relationship related problems, right? It happens at the same time, right? So the goal here is, do you know how to handle it or not, right? So this piece of information here, that's why I'm saying that it's a profitable industry, is because, right, these are the one that it will give you the most opportunities and also give you the most problems. So it is, to summarize this, is very hard, yeah, but it's profitable, the most profitable one. So the question here is, are you willing to take the hardship or not? Right. So this is the one you need to actually look into here. So now, once you actually know this part here, once you already identify this part here, I'm not asking you to change your field. A lot of people think, okay, this is my profitable. Don't do that first, right? So first of all, you need to know one thing. Are you really want to actually create a lot of money, and are you willing to go through a long sustainable period of time of hell or not? Because it's hard, because you're going to the most strongest element in the chart. If your answer is yes, then only you do it. Right. So unless someone asks about accounting will be on metal, right? So it's something to do with financial sector, right? So this is the thing you want to ask yourself first. Don't simply go and join this sector. And again, let's say, is there any way that without actually changing industry, you still can benefit from this? Is also the another way. Let's say right now you're a business owner. Let's say the most dominant element is metal right now, but you're not doing metal industry. Maybe you are doing you're doing something to do with food and beverage, let's say, right? But you know that metal is, you're supposed to join financial sector and banking sector, right? So what you need to do here is like this. All you need to do is, you don't change your industry, but you serve the client from your most profitable industry. Can you sell your hamburger or your drinks or healthy drinks to the financial sector or not? Is it possible? Yes, right? Yeah, so that one will be the one that you want to actually look into. So instead of actually changing your business nature, you can actually change your target customer to that area. That one you still can use this technique to actually so-called to use the most dominant element and get the attraction factor as well. Are you guys okay so far? Right, so this is the one I want you to know, right? So sometimes not just changing your destiny, right? So you just or change your business sector, and then you just serve the customer there, right? I know that a lot of you here, the things doesn't cover in this your sectors, right? So that one, this is not part of the program. Yeah, that one, when we go through a real training, we can go through every little details, right? So this is a generic so-called industry you can go into first. I know there's a lot, right? There are thousands of industry. Right, so I think that one of the things here I want you to know here, at least you grasp the concept, roughly you know, able to actually mix and match inside. Okay, that way we talk on the actual course itself. Yeah, so now the purpose here is not to tell you all the element industry. I want to tell you how to use this, how do you identify the dominant element, and one area you can use this dominant element is to position yourself in those industry, or you serve on those industry. Okay, so to those industry, this is the one that I want you to actually look into. Okay, cool. Right, so now don't just change your industry, right? Think about your audience. That is the area you should serve more. This is the flow of wealth. Yeah, so this is how it works here. All right, so this is, are you guys okay so far? Cool, right? So it's very simple, right? So one very simple step here, you already know. You know, how do you actually use these 5 elements? There's a lot, right? I just show you a very simple way to actually take a glance in your chart here. Yeah, very quick, right? You want to do this like within seconds. So now, This is the way when we look at the 5 elements, we look at holistic, right? The holistic view of your whole puzzle. Yeah, instead of looking just at one pillar, now we take consideration of the whole chart, and then we summarize the 5 elements to you, right? That is the real, I would say, a way to read a chart, because you want to know, because some people, they just focus on one pillar, right? But one pillar, only one aspect of your chart, right? Let's say your one pillar is fire, but the rest of your chart is water. Tell me, which one is strong? Hard to tell, right? Yeah, then you might actually mistaken, yeah, that actually maybe whether it's fire is strong, it's water is strong. So therefore, to be safe, you just look at the 5 structure. That one, we summarize the whole chart for you already, right? The whole chart is for you to actually look into. So then you can actually know in a holistic way which element is the strongest. Most of the time, you can just look at a month, but not all the chart is like that, because sometimes the contents in the day or the year and the hour can change the strength of the element in the chart, right? So to be safe, look at the structure I shared with you just now. Okay, that will be a cool one. Okay, so just now we're talking about the most highest so-called element, right? So now I want all of you here to look into the weakest element in your chart. Now, do it now. Look at the weakest element in the chart. Okay, I know some of you have maybe 2 or 3 most dominant, right? Then simply choose one. Okay, you have options for you. Okay, right now, yeah, the next exercise for you here is to actually look into what is the weakest element in your chart. Okay, 0 also considered the weakest. Okay, wood and fire. Okay, the next thing I want to share with you here is how do you quickly identify, right? How do you quickly identify the health issue in your chart? There are only 5 elements, right? So now, yeah, if your let me share you back the chart again. These 5 elements. Okay, so this is a chart, right? So if your weakest, let's say, is earth element. So earth element is the weakest, which means that, you know, your the moment you are born, right, the energy in your stomach and your spleen area will be weaker compared to the rest of the organ. Yeah, a very quick way to do it. If your weakest element is earth, how many of you here weakest element is earth? Maybe 0 or maybe 10%, right? If your weakest element is earth, automatically you know that, yeah, the weakest element or weakest organ is your stomach or your spleen. Yeah, very quickly you know. Yeah, instead of analyzing the whole chart, you just use a 5-element reading technique to do it. Okay. So Elaine, I saw Elaine, Sally. Okay, so that is the area, right? So why you need to protect it? Because think about this, right? Is there, if there is a virus going to attack your body, think about which area they're going to attack first, the most strongest area or the most weakest area. Of course, they're going to actually look at where? Look at your weakest link first, right? So if your weakest link is in the earth element, so you need to protect your stomach. Yeah, you need to make that area stronger. Yeah, that is what you know now. So this exercise here is talking about what? The weakest element. Just now, we're talking about the strongest, where we look for the dominant, profitable industry. So the technique I'm sharing with you right now is look for the weakest. Okay, so I just gone through one, which is the earth element. That is the thing here. So now, the second one, let's talk about metal. Right, metal here. So if your metal is the weakest, you already know that your lung is weak or your large intestine is weak. Yeah, these 2 areas. If your metal is the weakest. Okay, very quick. Yeah, so in one glance, you already do it already. So does this give you more confidence when you read puzzle chart next time or not for your friend? If someone want to know, which area to take care, now you know. Right, in a quick glance, you know already, right? You just look at the weakest element. Yeah, that's how fast it is. Okay, the next one. Yeah, the next one here, let's look at this water element. So if your water is the weakest, there are 2 areas you need to pay attention to either the kidney or the urinary bladder. Yeah, these are the two areas you want to pay attention to. If your water is the weakest, right, pay attention to your kidney or urinary bladder. That is the one that you need to actually look into. Okay, so how about the next one? If your weakest element is wood, right? If among the 5 elements, the weakest is the wood element, then this one got to do with either your liver or your gallbladder will be the weakest. You need to take care of these two areas. Okay, so and then finally is fire. If your fire is the weakest, check your chart right now. See whether fire is the weakest or not. If fire is the weakest, and the area you need to take care of is 2 things. Either is your heart or small intestine, right? These are the 2 areas you want to actually pay more attention to. Okay, for some of you just joining in, and I saw some of you asking, how do I look for these 5 elements? You look at the 5 structures, right? The 5 structures, you look at the beige color diagram where you can identify where is your strongest and where's your weakest, right? So from beginner right now, we're just talking about strongest and weakest, right? But later on, you can actually look at other angle as well. But let's do step by step here. Okay, so now, and don't you think this alone can be a lifesaver to a lot of people? Because you can actually make some strategy to prevent something, some problem in the future, right? So all parts technique here is about prevention, right? So let's say you already got the disease, that one you can just see doctor, right? So the goal of parts is not to actually cure issues, but to prevent it from happening in the first place. Right? Let's say right now you discover that your wood is weak, your liver is weak. Then you go and check, you go and do a checkup, and then the liver function could be normal, right? Then you might think, okay, actually I don't have problem. No, right? The moment let's say the moment if it's appear in your medical report, let's say there's a problem, probably it's too late, right? Right now, this partition tell you potential problem might happen in the future, so you can take care now. That is the benefit. Okay, so if you already have the problem, you don't need to compare with your parts chart anymore. You just go to do what? Just go and check. I go to seek treatment. This is a proper way of using parts for health. Okay, what did I did just now with all of you here? The 2 exercises now. We are only looking at 5 elements, right? Do I really care about? Do I actually ask you to look at the month pillar, day pillar, year pillar, or your day master? Not yet. Right? This 5 elements can tell you a lot of stuff. Right? So like how many of you here, like if you discover that your wood element is the weakest, how many of you here your wood element is the weakest? Tell me. Wood element is the weakest? Type the word me. Among the 5 elements. Okay? I want to see who you are. Okay, now I saw Lily. Okay, all of you here. So the moment, right? Because all these 5 elements, beside related to health, it also can relate to certain emotion that you have on consistent basis. So let's say you discover that your wood element, right? Your wood element is the weakest. So you are very easy to feel frustrated, right? And then you get annoyed easily. Anger is your regular emotion, and you are stressed easily. If your wood is your weakest element, constantly you're stressed, you're frustrated. Just one. Because why we have to see the 5 elements from this perspective? Because your emotion eventually will create your destiny. Don't you think so? The 5 elements here are nothing more than your emotion, right? Because a lot of time we make foolish decision is because we are emotional during that time, right? All of us here are not emotional, right? So we can make a lot of logical decision, right? So a lot of time we regret of something because we make decision based on our emotion, right? So therefore, these 5 elements, in the end, you're able to predict, what kind of destiny you have, because it will tell you certain emotion that you have on consistent basis. Yeah, so that is how there are a lot more, about these 5 elements here. I use a lot these 5 elements, for prediction purpose. Yeah, there's a lot. How can I predict someone? I can use the emotion, and I can predict certain outcome for someone. Right? Like all of you here say, very accurate, right? Yes. Yeah, it's not that hard, right? Just look at the wood element, right? So they're always they're stressed, they're very angry all the time, right? They feel that everything is somewhere is something wrong, everything is not aligned to what they wanted to see, the kind of thing. So that one is the wood element. Right? And if you're angry a lot, constantly, tell me what type of problem, health issue you have? Liver or gallbladder, because it's also wood element. Make sense now? Do you see the connection there? Right. So this is how you actually look into assess these 5 elements from that perspective. Okay. All right. Aaron, cool so far? Are you guys okay? Do you enjoy learning so far or not? Yeah, if you enjoy learning this, type the word yes. Yeah, this is the 5 elements. Okay, all right. So now just now I give you a quite an introduction of these 5 elements here. Okay, thank you. All right, so I give you an introduction just now. So right now, I want to share with you. I want you to understand the concept about 5-element transformation. Yeah, remember just now I talked about the 5 elements, the word elements in Chinese is not the word element. It's talking about transformation, about action, right? So therefore, to understand the 5 elements, you will not understand 5 elements without understanding the transformation of these 5 elements. So this is something very crucial. Yeah, so this is the thing here. And therefore, on the screen right now, I'm sharing with you the 5 elements that we actually talking about just now. So each of these elements consistently producing another element. Right? So if you can see on the screen here, fire will produce earth, right? So earth will produce metal, metal will produce water, water will produce wood, and wood will produce fire. Do you see this production cycle is very easy, right? If I ask you, water produce what element? Automatically, you know water will produce wood, right? If I ask you, wood will produce what element? Wood will always produce fire. Easy? Do you know how to use this diagram right now? Yeah, this is what we call the producing cycle. Right? So ignore this English word here. I think they spell it wrongly. Right? So this is basically a producing cycle or productive cycle. Okay. So now once we know this, right, there is of course there are also other so-called relationship. Another one is weakening, and then another one is countering, right? Like water counter fire. Now I'm not going to explain each of this because this one will be the next level, right? So I just want you to know there are different relationships. Some are producing, some of them are countering, right? So therefore, if you want to remove certain problem, then you might need to use countering. If you want to enhance certain element, you need to use producing. Make sense? Right? So therefore, first of all, you need to know whether that element you need more or not. For example, like just now, some of you, while wood is weak, right? So tell me, if you want to increase your wood element, which is important in your chart? Let's say your wood element is very weak and you want to improve the wood element. Think about which element that will produce wood. Type in the chat box right now if you know the answer. Okay, all of you here say water, right? It's water, right? Okay, now, so, okay, correct. It's water. So now let me, this is, I think everyone know how to do this. And let me ask you, among these 5 elements that produce each other, which one will produce the element the fastest? Is it wood produce fire or fire produce earth, or earth produce matter, or matter produce water, or water produce wood? Which productive cycle is the fastest? Ask you another question here. Since now all of you here know the production cycle, yeah, which one is the most fastest in terms of speed? I want you to think elementally. Okay, I see a lot of you here say that wood produce fire. Yes, you're right, right? Because wood produce fire is the fastest, right? Because how fast is like you want to ignite a fire from the wood is very fast, right? You're right. Yeah, so this one is the fastest. Yeah, it's the fastest. So now tell me, since you know that wood to fire is the fastest, and then which one is the slowest? Tell me. Which one is the slowest? Which production cycle is the slowest? Now you know that wood to fire is the fastest. There are only 4 left. Okay, I saw a lot of you here say earth to metal, right? Yes, you're right. Right? So earth to metal, because metal is a mineral, right? So for the earth to actually able to actually produce mineral, it will take millions of years, right? To actually produce out, so it's slow. So this one is the slowest. Okay, so this one is the slowest. And now this is so-called, there's another level when you look at this so-called 5 elements. So which means that if you discovered a chart, yeah, let's say right now, now you know this, right? Let's say, let me draw something on the screen right now. Based on that information, let's say I look at your parter chart, right? Let's say this is your parter chart. I just draw it here. If you discover someone chart, there is a wood here, or there's a fire here. Tell me, is this person fast or slow? Very fast. Yeah, because wood to fire, they can think very fast. Then I know that some of you might ask, right? Yeah, is it a yang wood or yin wood? Doesn't matter. And now we are using just 5 elements. Yeah, this is how easy for you to read the parter chart. Think about this, right? If your parter chart don't have animal signs, don't have yin and yang, it's very fast, right? Yeah, actually you can read the chart that way as well, you know. Yeah, without even know the yin and yang, you still can came out with a lot of answer. So it's fast, think very fast. So therefore, in the old days, there's one saying called that, you know, whenever you see wood to fire, this person be very brilliant, they can think quickly, and then they're very witty, right? So this is what we call about wood to fire brilliance. I think you heard about this term before, some of you. So this is what it means. Okay, so how about this? If this fire, let's say this is not a fire here, but the fire actually appearing here, also can, right? So this chart also wood to fire, you know, right? So it's also the thing here. So it doesn't matter where it is. It could be next, as long as they're next to each other, you form that formation already. Okay, so let me draw another time for you. How about like this? Let's say wood is here, fire is here. Also counted, right? Because it's next to each other. All right. Yeah, so I know some of you asked about countering, all those things. Don't worry about that. I haven't touched about that. Means that right now it's not important, right? We look at what we are discussing right now. Okay, so as to make sure all of us here in the same page. Okay, so now I want all of you here to check your chart. Do you have a formation called wood to fire formation in your chart or not? Check your chart right now. There are only 8 boxes, right? So look at the chart. Do you see a wood and fire next to each other or on top of each other now? Check your chart. Okay, so if you're yes, which means that you have this intelligent element within you, and then you can think really fast, and then you can learn something very fast. A lot of yeses. Okay, nice. Okay, maybe you don't have. Some of you just now you type the word no, right? Maybe you don't have, but maybe your children have. It's a good news as well, right? So if you see someone a children child have this, they're also very very smart. They're very brilliant. Okay. Nice. Yeah, they do things very fast. They don't like to wait because wood to fire, they produce result very fast. Okay, tell me now. Now you learn the fastest element. Do you still know your the element that very slow element, the very slow production cycle? Yeah, guess which one is the slowest just now? Yeah, type it if you still can remember. Remember just like I told you, wood to fire is the fastest, right? So which one is the slowest production cycle just now? Earth to metal. All right, so it's earth to metal. Okay, now you need to check. Yeah, your chart here got this or not. Let's say you have a metal here, and then you have an earth here. You also have an earth to metal formation. Okay, yeah, so this is here, right? So this is also a consider. And maybe is like this. Maybe you have it here. Metal is here, and then earth is here. Also consider. Okay, so some of you learned BaZi before. If this one in the hour, which means that this person think fast or slow, very slow, right? Because the hour pillar represent thinking, right? If you don't know the pillar differences, it's fine. Just means that this person is slow. What if the whole chart is also consists of earth and metal, the whole chart? This 8 character here, let's say here is metal, this is earth, and then metal, earth. Okay, if you have this, this person is extremely slow. Okay, and then you don't need to look at this is not dumb. Okay, LT is LT say that is it a dumb chart? No, it's not a dumb chart. They're just slow. They can be very intelligent. Okay, they think slow, they plan, yeah, they're stable. Okay, eat slow, do everything also slow, but also very long life. Okay, because they die also very slow, so very long life. Okay, so this is the part that you can actually look into, right? So do I actually look at the hidden stem? I didn't. Right? You can ignore the hidden stem right now. Just look at the 8 characters. Right? There's the whole word BaZi means, right? The BaZi means what? If you translate BaZi into Cantonese, they're talking about 8 characters. Okay, so you just write the 8 characters. Can tell a lot of information. Okay, Pauline say that what if you're having the both fast and slow combination element at the same time? Yeah, so which means that you neutralize each other. So sometimes you're fast, sometimes you're slow. Okay, depends on where your element is, right? If your fast element is in your work, then you do work very fast, right? If the slow element in your home, like the day or month pillar, then you go home, everything you do also very slow. You're very lazy, maybe, but not. They do things slow. They takes time. Maybe they wash dishes. They take 2 hours to wash the dish. Maybe like that. Their favorite hangout place maybe is the couch. Okay, so this one is the one that you can actually look into. Yeah, don't you think this is a very quick way of actually reading? Do you like this new way of reading your BaZi chart or not? right? Simple, right? Simple yet quick, right? There's a lot more, right? So this is the one that we use a lot, yeah, for future when we do a lot of prediction or strategy. This is use this part, right? A lot of time we don't need to drill down into detail one, you know. I don't need to make things complicated. I don't even talk about clash. I don't even talk about combination and everything. Yeah, that one later. Yeah, step by step. This one is to help you to build your confidence. Nice and fun. There are so many. I haven't touched about like fire produce earth, water produce wood, metal produce water, and then also countering also, right? Countering, weakening cycle. There are so many of this. Okay. All right. So this is what I can share with you. This is a concept, right? I want to introduce to you the concept here, so you can have more fun of learning these 5 elements. Right? I know that a lot of people when they learn puzzle, that there's actually go straight to deep dive into all the technical details. You don't need to do that. Okay, so do this first. Yeah, strengthen your skill on these 5 elements. Yeah, then everything you learn in the future will be easy for you. Okay, so and before we continue, I want to share with you, because a lot of time I receive a lot of message from all of you here. You told me that you are not get notified for upcoming webinars or event or workshops or Facebook Live or my newly upload videos. So if do you want all these updates or not? Right? So because I know that a lot of you here told me that you didn't receive any updates. Yeah, if you're interested to know if there's any upcoming webinar, any new upload videos, you know, or even Yi Jing divination, yeah, if you want to know all this update here, you can actually get this update from this site here. Yeah, this is the one, right? So I posted all my updates on Telegram. Right, so I know a lot of you here already joined. So if you haven't joined yet, yeah, you can actually you can scan the QR code or you can screenshot this and join later if you're using a phone. Just go to Telegram and then search for Iverson, and then the URL listed on the screen here. So this is where I posted all my upcoming event, webinar, or even the monthly Yi Jing divination and videos as well will be here. So you get all the updates in one place, so you're not missing out any future event, webinar, or Yi Jing divination. Okay. All right. So once you actually do this, let me just share with you a little bit about advanced 5-element application. Okay. So this is the one I'm going to share with you. It's called advanced 5 elements. Right. So advanced 5 elements. 5 elements is as the name implies, there are 5. Right. So but when we actually break down the 5 elements into yin and yang, then you got 10 elements, right? You got 10 elements, right? So I think whenever a 5 element that break down into yin and yang, since it is 10, there's a technical term we use to address that. Is what we call the 10 stems, right? The advanced 5 elements. So let me show you what this 10 stem is all about. These are the one. I think this is very familiar to all of you here. So basically, this is an extension of what we are learning just now. Just now, we are talking about wood element, right? So now wood also, you can have yang wood and yin wood. Therefore, they have 2. So fire also got yang and yin. So yang fire and yin fire, you also have 2 elements here. So do earth, metal, and also water. So this makes up to 10 steps. Are you guys okay? I think a lot of you here directly, you straight learn the 10 stems, right? But now you have 5-element background is more easier, yeah, for you to actually learn this 10 stem here. Okay, all right. So now, remember we look at our chart. Let me share with you a sample parter chart first. I want all of you here to take out your parter chart. I teach you some very simple but a very, very useful way to read the chart. So let me share with you the screen. Hold on. I'm going to share a parter chart on the screen right now. Okay, so now I want you to pay attention to this. Yeah, this represents you, right? Pay attention to this. So if you zoom in here, let's say you zoom in on this box here, you discover one thing, right? The 5th element is here. You see the word wood here, right? One of the 5 elements is wood, right? And then it's also tell you it's a yin or yang, because now there are 10. Yeah, so this one represent who you are. Yeah, so it represents who you are. So, and by this element alone, sometimes you can tell a lot of information about you and how do you use the chart, right? So let me just show you some example here, since now we're talking about advanced kind of thing here. So how many of you here, your day master, when to check your day master, how many of you here, your day master is yin fire? This one. Yin fire. How many of you here is yin fire? Type the word me on. If your day master just now, if you circle, you discover that you are yin fire, type the word me. Okay, a lot of here. So yin fire is a fire element, right? It's a fire element. And this fire element represent a candle fire. That is represent the candle fire. Okay. So now if you are candle fire, for all the yin fire day master, I'm only talking to all the yin fire day master, you are the candle fire, right? So let me draw something. Yeah, my drawing is pretty bad. Yeah, but I think you can actually gauge what it is all about. This image, right? This candle fire. So right now, this candle fire, yeah, the most important thing in your chart is not to check whether you're strong or weak or whatever. Yeah, the first thing you want to check your chart here is, can your fire continue to burn or not? Yeah, that's very important, right? So if your candle fire, right? So if your fire cannot continue to burn, then the fire is no longer useful. Don't you think so? It's dim. Yeah, it's diminished. So we don't like that. So let me ask all of you here, what is needed for a candle fire to continue to burn? What element that they need to continue to burn? Yeah, just let's say you go for a fire camp, for example, at night, right? You want to lit up the fire, the bon campfire. So in order to let that fire last through the whole night, what you're going to fit in? Wood element, right? Make sense? Okay, so therefore, if your yin fire chart here, the first thing you must see in the whole chart, whether you got a good quality chart or not, you must check whether you got wood element or not. I know a lot of you here want to check strong or weak, all those things, that one wasting time, right? If you don't have wood element, doesn't matter you're strong or weak. Okay, so that is a very important element to you, yeah, for this fight, for this yin fire to survive. Right? So is it hard to see the chart like that? It's very easy, right? Yeah, rather than you to check the whole thing, right? It's very easy. So check the chart got fire. So therefore, can I conclude that for a yin fire day master, the wood element is extremely important in the chart? Very, very important, right? Because this is their survival element. And think about this: if you learn BaZi before, wood produce fire, right? So what is a wood to a fire? Don't you think it's a resource element? It's a resource element, right? Because wood produce fire, so wood is the resource element for a fire, yin fire person. So resource in BaZi also represent mother, if you're talking about a person. So that's why you notice that all the yin fire day master, right, they love their mom very much. Yeah, now I'm talking to all the yin fire here. Yeah, your mom is your first priority in life. Yeah, because it's your resource element, you need it. Right? Don't care whether it's a yin wood or yang wood. Right? So I'm talking to all the yin fire right now, all the yin fire day master. Yeah, your mom is very important to you, right? You love your mom very much. If you're yin fire, automatically it's like that. It's your nature. Quick or not this way to look at the chart? Right? So this is the so I always tell people, right? You say that if you want to date someone, or you're interested in a girl, and you discover that your victim, not victim, your target is a yin fire person, then make sure you make a good impression on her mom first. If her mom likes you, yeah, you rest your case, right? It's done. Succeed, mission accomplished. Yeah, that's the one that you can. This is a quick way you can read from the chart. Okay, so you can use it. Let's say you discover that your boss is a yin fire as well. So what you need to do, you need to remember your boss' mother birthday. Okay, not your boss' birthday. Now you know how to learn BaZi, right? Use BaZi that way. So you can control your future or not? Yes. Right now you can predict, right? Your career here will be good. Is it cool like that? Right? Just one element you can do so many things already. Are you guys okay? Yeah. Is it interesting to learn this 5-element thing? Yeah, it's good. Do you want more or not? Okay, all right. So now let's say right now, right? So are you able to handle something a little bit advanced? Little bit, okay? Okay, so let me just share with you one thing, all right? So let me just draw a chart for you. Okay, let's say how many of you here this chart I see a lot, you know. So yang metal, right? Let's say, right? So there's a yang metal. How many of you here are yang metal? Yang metal. Okay, it's a yang metal here. So, and then, okay, before I continue, I saw some Q&A that they say that this apply to yang fire. No, this is not apply to yang fire, right? Only apply to yin fire because yang fire is a fire of the sun. They don't need the wood element. Okay, only apply to yin fire. Okay, now let's back to our example here. Let's say you're yang metal, right? Yang metal, right? The purpose of a yang metal is to chop wood. Right, is to chop wood. So there's a purpose, right? Because wood element is their wealth element. So let's say you discover this person chart. There's a wood here, and then there's a wood here, and there's a wood as well. Good or not? Also another wood here. Right, so if it's a lot of wood here, so all wood element to a metal person means money because metal chop wood. Anything you control is your wealth element. So don't you think this chart sees a lot of money? Yes, right? Do we like this? Right, we like this, right? So the moment if the going through a period where the metal is strong, they can chop the wood. So the moment you see right now, maybe he's alone, right? So what if this person go through a metal luck pillar? Is it cool? So it's no longer overwhelmed, right? So if you're going through metal luck pillar, which means that the self is strong, can it control the wealth or not? Yes. Okay. All right. So now, let's say this is the luck pillar, right? The luck pillar coming in. So the metal luck pillar make yourself become strong, then therefore you can chop the wood. And if you look at all this wood here, so it's in a pictorial format, all wood element is like an axe. Yeah, an axe chopping a forest, right? A thick wood or a big tree, because all is wood element, right? So the moment the axe actually chop the wood, so what will happen? Tell me. The axe will become blunt. Right, become blunt, right? So every time you see the axe will become blunt, what is needed? Tell me. The moment you're strong because you're going through metal luck pillar, you're very strong, and then you continue to chop the wood, but true enough, after a certain period of time, your axe become blunt already. What you need to do, tell me, if your axe is become blunt? Okay, you need to sharpen it. You need to forge it again, right, to make it Sharp, right? So I think a lot of you here talking about fire. Okay, all right. So cool is the fire element. So don't you think that for a metal to become sharp again, it need to be forged? So fire element is very, very important, right? So which fire? Think fire. Yeah, because think fire is the focus fire. They're able to forge the metal, yeah, to become strong again, right? Need to be sharpened. Otherwise, become blunt, it cannot chop, even though they are strong. Okay, so because you do forge it means it becomes sharp again, refine, and then it can chop more efficiently. So that's the thing here. So therefore, don't you think all yang metal person need to be forged? Yes. Right? If you're yang metal, your theme of success is what? No pain, no gain. Because whenever the forging process is started, is it pleasant or is it painful? It's painful, right? Because you need to use a focus fire to actually forge the metal, intense, high temperature, intense fire. Right? So therefore, the yin fire is the element to do it. So for all yang metal person to be useful, the theme for you, your success theme here is what? No pain, no gain. That's the thing here. Okay, so let's say right now, you discover that this person, the think fire is, let's say if the think fire is here. Let's say you discover one fire here. What would you advise this person to do? So all his training, all his forging or build up his character and leadership is on the year pillar, right? So year pillar is the network. So you need to tell this person to go out and meet people and then do more networking, because from there, your true talent or maybe you meet certain person able to actually force you to become a better person or train you to become better. The real training happen in external, not internal. Yeah, this is how you use the chart. Is this too complicated for you or not? Are you guys okay? Yeah, so I try to explain to you in terms of the 5 elements. Yeah, by understanding more of these 5 elements, you can do a lot of analysis, yeah, in a very quick way. Are you guys okay or not so far? Okay, all right. So, okay, cool. So all of you say okay means that it's good, right? So now you know, right? All yang metal, yeah, you cannot avoid responsibility, right? You must say, yeah, I'm going to take it. Yeah, bring it on. Yeah, up your game. Yeah, that is the secret of success for yang metal. I don't even need to look at the whole chart, right? Sometimes one wise people can change the course of everything. So this is how you can actually use your chart in a 5-element way of reading. Yes, yeah, that is the right word. Bring it on, right? Okay, once you actually know this part here. Okay, a lot of you here say lost connection. Are you guys okay now? I saw a lot of people say lost connection on the screen. Testing 1, 2, 3. Are you? If you can hear me now, yeah, type the word yes. If you can hear me now, type the word yes. Okay, good. All right, I see a lot of yeses here already. Okay, cool. So, and there's a lot of way we can look at the chart, right? Some chart here, your day master, you can use 7 killings, good. You can use 7 killings a lot. A lot of people are afraid about 7 killings, right? So actually it's not, right? So some day master can use 7 killing better. So all of these day master have their own different strength, right? And then the more you understand them elementally in terms of 5 elements, you can do a reading in a very quick way, in a very so-called very fast. For example, like next year is a year of metal. Is a metal ox year, right? So if you know that, what is the health issue for next year? Can you tell me or not? Just now you learn, right? What is metal related? Since next year is metal ox, right? So what is metal related? Metal are related to what? The lung, right? The lung and the metal intestine. and the big intestine. So these are the two areas. So therefore, next year, these are the two main area of concern in terms of health. Yeah, but just understand this. You already know, right? I just told you what metal element indicates. Is it that hard? No. Now you know. Yeah, so it's not that hard, right? So this is how we actually use the art of prediction, yeah, to actually analyze your wealth capacity, your relationship in the future, you know. So won't it be cool if you can do it every single year, right? It's cool, right? So you can actually plan your future, become better. So and some of you being actually following me a lot, you know, especially this year. I just to share with you, I would like to actually thank you, a lot of you here that actually attended my program, right? This is the one that I conducted. Right, during this pandemic, during this lockdown, I have actually conducted 4 programs. Yeah, that I write the content for this 4 content. I see that's very important, and this happened on April, July, August, and the recent one is on September. Right, it's just like time flies, right? So it's so quickly. Yeah, this I already taught these 4 programs here. So how many of you here actually attended some of this program? Type the word me. Oh, Jill, you attended all 4. Very nice. Okay, Brian Benson attended 3. Nice. Okay, all right. Thank you. Yeah, thank you for all your support here. Right, because since because normally I did this class is via the live classroom, but due to the pandemic, I can actually reach more people by conducting this online. Right. So and then a lot of people ask Iverson. Yeah, always ask me, do you have any courses on November or December or not? Yeah, I don't think so. Right, very unlikely because I have other programs to teach as well, so I will not create any new course for 2020. I think 4 is enough for now. Yeah, I think I hope in one way or another can serve you. But actually, next year I plan to actually create another new course. Right, next year, not this year. It's on February. So if you are interested, right? So if you're interested to know more, this is my new project that I'm going to do. If you like what you learned so far, I'm sure you're going to love this, right? Let me show you what is this. The next one I'm working on. So this is what we call something new in 2021, right? I think that every year we need to improve ourselves by educating ourselves. So why not, right? Make a date on 2021, to take some time to actually commit to learn something new, right? So this is what I'm going to plan here. And what I'm going to share on something new here is the art of prediction. Yeah, a way that, like what you saw just now, a very quick way to actually learn how to read your chart and then quickly come up with certain prediction you're able to actually come out with, even you're a beginner. Okay, so if you are interested on this, then let me share with you. Some of you probably already know this if you joined my previous program. So this is what I call the eye of the future. Yeah, so I've shown on the screen. Yeah, do you like the logo, right? Eye of the future. So which basically means to train your visual. How do you read the future? Yeah, this is only one time only. I'm going to do this. I saw a lot of you here typing. You already enrolled. It's good. Thank you for your support. Right. So for some of you here haven't do this yet. So let's take this opportunity, to commit yourself to learn this. If you like what you learned just now, I'm sure that you're going to enjoy this as well. Yeah. So it's not hard. Even you're beginner, you're able to pick it up. But I want you to focus more on the advantage or the benefit, from learning this, because now you can know, how do you plan your life better by knowing, or anticipate what are the things in the future that happening here. So, and the date here will be on 27 and 28 of February 2021. Yeah, this is the date, and it will be live stream. So, which means that you're going to attend this online, just like what you're doing right now. You're going to learn this online, right? So, and then of course, astrology, a lot of people focus a lot on creation, but now we're going to also focus on prediction as well. To bring the thing here in balance. And of course, since we're talking about the eye of the future, then we're talking about the power of anticipation, right? And align to future opportunities and also becoming the best version of your future self. This is something very important. Right? So if you are interested, there's some of you, I know, wow, thank you. A lot of you here already enrolled. Thank you for that. So for some of you are interested, like Helena, you asked how much is the investment. So this time we are not going to increase the price. We're going to stick with our price that I offered previously on my previous program. Is the investment for these 2 days live stream program is only for 297. Okay, for this time, right? So yeah, so in order to proceed, how do we take the next step here to encourage you further? For all of you here who enroll for this program, you're able to get this. Yeah, you're able to get this. For those who already enrolled previously, you also get this. This is the one. This is an exclusive private webinar where I'm going to talk about Destiny of Giants. Yeah, so this will bonus. So you're going to get this for free. Yeah, for free for you if you enroll for Eye of the Future. So this is where I'm going to discuss about the parts of the greats. Yeah, those people are high achiever. They did something very important to the world, make a huge impact. Either they are billionaires or they actually make impact to the humanity, someone that's popular. So this is where I'm going to discuss their chart. So your goal here is to identify, what are the things that they have. Maybe you have some similar traits in your parts chart as well. So you're going to get this for free if you enroll for this Eye of the Future program. So if you are interested, right, if you're interested on this, here's the link. Right, you can actually do this here, training.joeyup.com/future, and you're going to enroll for this. You also going to get this Destiny of the Giant as well, right? So all you need to do is on your right hand side there is a blue box here. You just click the enroll button, then you can actually get this enroll yourself immediately. So think this as a commitment. You want to make yourself for next year to learn something new, right? So it can serve you for the year after and also beyond as well. Yeah. So this is the link, and you can do it now to secure the bonus as well. Okay. All right. So I hope to see you guys on this program here, and I haven't conducted this new program before, so there will be a lot of interesting content inside. I still finalizing. There's so many content. I need to decide which one I want to share that is important. So I'm sure that this will be one of the best ever program that I will going to conduct, right? So I hope that some of you interested, just join us here today, and I hope to see you then. Otherwise, I hope all of you here have a great time. Learning from the last almost like 2 hours webinar here. I hope you learned something new. Do you? Right, so you learn something new about 5 elements. Now you have more confidence of reading the chart and having some fun as well. So I hope you're having a good time during this webinar here, just as much as I do here. Okay, so till then, I wish all of you here have a great life ahead and have a healthy life. Remember to take care, and I'm going to see you guys soon. All right, I'm Iverson. Keep in touch.